A dinosaur that suddenly leapt out of the sea nearly knocked a crew member to his death. But to his surprise, they all laughed out loud with joy. It turned out the group had come to the sea precisely to find the prehistoric beast, the Mosasaurus, with the intention of extracting its genes to take back for research. One of them, a female operative, aimed a tranquilizer gun at the Mosasaurus but found that the rocking ship made it impossible to get a clear shot. An assistant quickly came forward and secured her with a harness to the bow, which finally steadied her. The captain carefully observed the Mosasaurus's movements, turned the ship around, and charged towards it at full speed. The tranquilizer gun was only effective within 10 meters, so holding her breath, the operative knew she had to succeed on the first try. However, just as they got close, the Mosasaurus, as if sensing them, dove underwater. The next second, it burst out of the water, its massive body creating huge waves. The impact caused the operative to lose her grip and accidentally fire the tranquilizer dart. She quickly told her assistant to get another dose. But the Mosasaurus had seen the projectile and seemed to realize the danger, charging directly at her. Fortunately, the operative's feet were locked in place. Otherwise she would have become a snack for this behemoth in an instant. She quickly moved back onto the boat and, taking advantage of the close distance, fired the tranquilizer in one smooth motion, accurately hitting the Mosasaurus in the back. Soon, the Mosasaurus's blood sample was collected. The tranquilizer dart automatically ejected and deployed a small parachute as it flew into the air. The assistant rushed forward to catch it securely. Just like that, they had successfully obtained the blood sample worth hundreds of millions. However, as everyone was celebrating, the doctor was shocked to see several smaller dinosaurs appear on the sea surface. A closer look revealed they were Spinosauruses. They have a symbiotic relationship with the Mosasaurus, with the two species hunting cooperatively to increase each other's survival rate. It was clear that these Spinosauruses saw them as food. A soldier, not taking any chances, pulled out a machine gun and fired at them. After a few rounds, the Spinosauruses were indeed beaten back and began to flee. But the soldier failed to notice that a companion of the Spinosaurus had already targeted him from behind. It leapt up and bit down hard on the man. Even though he used all his strength to hold onto the door, he couldn't escape the fate of being eaten. Before the group had time to grieve their companion being carried away, the Mosasaurus leapt out of the sea again. The immense impact instantly caused the ship to tilt. A Spinosaurus seized the opportunity to leap, nearly eating an observer. A little girl lost her balance and slipped to the edge of the ship. But her father grabbed her at the last moment. The captain, seeing that things couldn't go on like this, changed the ship's direction and made a desperate decision. He headed towards the distant reefs. He knew that hitting the reefs below would instantly run the ship aground. But it also meant that the Mosasaurus and Spinosauruses couldn't operate in the shallow water. He had to take the gamble. As the ship entered the reef area, the Spinosauruses did indeed stop their pursuit. But the Mosasaurus relentlessly continued the chase. It rammed the ship, causing it to completely lose its course and repeatedly collide with various reefs. Seeing a giant reef just ahead, the operative and the doctor ran for their lives. Although they both escaped harm, the ship's engines were now destroyed, and it had completely lost control. Like a runaway train, the ship sped towards the shore. With the shallow water just ahead, the captain gave the order, and everyone jumped into the water. Just as he had predicted, the Mosasaurus had to give up the chase as it couldn't get close to the shallows. However, the captain didn't have enough time to jump and could only let the ship crash onto the coast. Fortunately, everyone was safe. They had finally reached the island. On the island, they were to extract the genes of a second dinosaur. Following the signal from their tracker, they arrived at the habitat of the Titanosaur. But strangely, there wasn't a single dinosaur in sight. As they wondered, a giant snake-like form suddenly rose from the grass. A closer look revealed it was the tail of a Titanosaur. Seeing such a colossal beast, they were not afraid and instead slowly approached it, as this type of dinosaur is a herbivore and posed no threat. The operative took out the tranquilizer extractor, loaded it, and aimed at the Titanosaur. This was the largest land dinosaur, and if they could extract its genes, there was hope for curing various human heart diseases. Without hesitation, she fired the tranquilizer. It caused the dinosaur only a slight sting, and the blood was successfully extracted, automatically returning to their hands. With that, they had collected the second blood sample. Now they had the blood of the ocean's ruler, the Mosasaurus, and the land's giant, the Titanosaur. All that was left was the blood of the king of the skies, the Quetzalcoatlus. To complete their mission, the Quetzalcoatlus usually lives at high altitudes, so they had to climb to the top of a mountain. However, even if they got close, getting a blood sample from it while staying alive was still a problem, as its combat capability was comparable to an F-16 fighter jet. Fortunately, after some observation, the doctor came up with a brilliant idea. While climbing the mountain, he had seen a Quetzalcoatlus nest. As long as the mother pterosaur was away, they could extract the genes directly from one of the baby pterosaur's eggs. Completely avoiding conflict, the group immediately set to work. They equipped their climbing ropes and began descending the cliff. Sure enough, in a man-made ruin on the cliffside, they found the nest. Inside, there were several dinosaur eggs. The doctor carefully inserted a probe into an egg, avoiding damage to the embryo while continuously drawing the fluid. In no time, the extraction was successful. However, just as they were about to celebrate, the mother pterosaur happened to return home. Without a word, she started pecking furiously at the doctor. Seeing him cornered, a young man named Xiao He, who was outside, threw a hammer to successfully draw the pterosaur's attention. He then shouted to his companions above to pull him up. A life-or-death race against time began. A moment's delay and Xiao He would become a snack. Although the pterosaur was lured away, the rapid pulling tightened the rope on the doctor. The next second, at a critical moment, the operative grabbed the rope, preventing the doctor from falling off the cliff. On the other side, at the top, the captain managed to pull Xiao He to safety, only to find he had been bitten by the pterosaur and was swallowed whole with a crunch. The two could only flee for their lives. The rope supporting the operative and the doctor was also at its limit. The doctor had just picked up the fallen sample when he accidentally triggered the return mechanism. The sample flew out, and the rope snapped completely. The doctor thought he was done for as he fell, but his protagonist's luck kicked in. After being cushioned by a few large leaves, he happened to fall into the water, saving his life. The ejected sample, carried by its parachute, landed nearby. The mission to extract the Quetzalcoatlus gene was thus completed in a thrilling fashion.